Hello, my name is Grayson and I'm a Pokemon card collector in Japan. It has been a hot minute since I have made a video. Now, I don't really use my YouTube channel much anymore, but I'm very active on Instagram, so if you're interested in what I'm going to talk about today, Instagram's probably a better place to go. Today I'm going to be talking about the state of Pokemon cards in Japan. Now, it is very difficult to get Pokemon cards in Japan at the moment, and they are very expensive. There's a variety of reasons for this, and I've split this video up into two parts. First is I'm going to go into Yokohama and pick up my lottery win from the Pokemon Center, and then I'll go around some of the other Pokemon card shops and show you sort of what's going on in the shops in the physical world of Pokemon cards in Japan. And then second part, I'm going to do a little bit of sit down talk and tell you why this is happening and sort of my personal thoughts on it. Now, if you want to skip the vloggy sort of part, please go to this time and let's get chatting. And if you're coming with me for the vlog as well, let's go pick up some Pokemon cards. Here we are at Yodobashi Camera, going up to the 6th floor. Let's get it. Okay, so there is nothing. It's kind of funny because actually there was a group of 5 university student lads hanging around the Pokemon cards as if to prove my point that university students are very much into Pokemon cards at the moment. And let's try the next spot. Next we are heading to Book Off. Here we go. Next is 3rd floor, Trading Card Park. Here we go. A QR code in the store for their lotteries. Lots of singles. No boxes in there. All these shops I'm going to, apart from the Pokemon Center, do singles as well, by the way. So next one, let's go to Card Box and let's have a look. I'm not really filming much of the singles and stuff because they don't really like you filming in the store, so I'm just trying to sort of like take a few quick snaps, but let's go over to the next one, over the road, just over there. Card Box, one of my favorite shops in Yokohama. And you can see here that they are not selling any boxes. You know what's also really popular at the moment? One Piece card. Next is Full Comp. No cards in Full Comp. They're very big about you not filming in there, so I was very careful. As you can see outside, there are a lot of things about signs about their lotteries and systems. Of course, it's not very English friendly at all. The last shop I'm heading to outside is PAO, P-A-O. And then I'll look at some of the indoor shops and pick up my order from the Pokemon Center. And the rain is absolutely relentless. PAO is a relatively new shop. They've got loads of space to play and it's just really nice and fresh in there. But unfortunately, no cards. It's time to pick up some cards. I'm also going to check out Surigaya. I don't think they have any cards. A lot of singles, but no Pokemon card packs. And next door there is Mint, and they also don't have any Pokemon card packs, and a lot of singles to look at as well. Pokemon Center Yokohama. Let's pick up some cards. It's busy and I'm trying not to show people's faces because that's bad in Japan. And so it looks like they have, these two are available to buy. You can have 5 boxes of each of these. They're clearly not very popular. And then these are the lottery information about Scarlet and Violet. You can tell it's school holidays because it's so rammed today and I'm really trying not to film other people. all of this big window has changed now. It used to be all sea Pokemon, water Pokemon. I got my cards. And you know what's really funny? I got to the register at 1:57 and she said, "You're too early." And I said, "Oh, my time is at 2, is it okay?" And she's like, "Next time come on time." And I'm like, it's 3 minutes early. That's the most Japanese thing I've ever heard. But hopefully I'll get some good pulls from it. It's so cute. There are a variety of reasons that Pokemon cards are difficult to get here in Japan, and I want to go through them as carefully as I can, and I've done a lot of research and I can talk from my own personal experience as well. Of course, as an English speaker, we hear a lot more about how difficult it is getting Pokemon cards shipped from Japan to overseas and how big the price markup is on that, because the price markup is huge. For example, Triplet Beats, the new set that just came out, is worth about 5,500 yen. Now that's being sold overseas for $150. But the thing is, it's also being sold in Japan for the same amount. The overseas markup is reflective of the Japanese market. If we look on Japanese secondhand market services like Mercari and Yahoo, and yes, these are mainly for the Japanese market, overseas people are generally not buying through Mercari and Yahoo because of the need for Japanese language, and usually sellers will not ship outside of Japan. You need a Japanese credit card. There's a lot that goes with it. These are the prices that they're being sold for. Here in Japan, we're calling this a Pokemon card boom. So it's a boom, it's a trend, it's a thing that is popular at the moment. Now this boom started about 2020 when Corona hit and people didn't have a lot to do. Back in 2020 and 2021, English cards were very hard to get, and so overseas markets started looking towards Japan to get their cards. They were cheaper and they were generally better quality. And at that time, certainly we can see Japanese people trying to sell to overseas to get that markup, and that being a factor at that time. But that is not really the reason anymore. Japan itself does not exist within a bubble, except Japan absolutely exists within a bubble. When I was researching for this video, because I really wanted to make sure I was getting my facts right, all of the articles I looked at, barely a single one mentioned cards being shipped overseas as a problem for the Pokemon card supply. Of course, there are and always will be people selling to the overseas market and making their money that way, but that is not the essence of our problem here in Japan. So what's the problem here in Japan? Let's break it down. In a similar way to how YouTube drives the English card market, YouTube also has an influence on the Japanese card market. Many say the initial Pokemon card boom was started by YouTuber here Hajime Shacho, and the more recent boom fueled by Hikakin. So this is really opening the world of Pokemon cards up to younger people, and now I certainly see younger people buying Pokemon cards. And now Hajime Shacho and Hikakin's audience does tend to be quite young. I taught at elementary school and they knew him, and junior high school, and they were quite fans of Hikakin and Hajime Shacho. But the people we are seeing buying Pokemon cards mainly are university students. During the pandemic, these university students were doing a lot of online learning, or maybe not able to go as many drinking parties and that kind of thing as they used to, and going towards things like Pokemon cards and hobbies was a great release for them. When I go to Pokemon card tournaments, a lot of the players are university students or that age. It's a really popular thing to do at the moment as a young person. Before I continue much further, I must say it is men in this space. It is really not women fueling this in any way. When I go to Yodobashi Camera at 6 a.m. to queue up and try and get the new set of Pokemon cards, because that's really the only way to get it if you didn't win any lotteries, it's men. It is 99% men and me. And there might be one or two other women in there as well, but it's men. It's fueled by men. So we have university students who are enjoying some time playing Pokemon cards. University students also have something a lot of us working people do not have, and that is time. And that time can be made to make money. Again, when I said Japan lives in a bubble, Japan lives in a bubble, and its bubble of social media is Twitter. So a lot of the information comes onto Twitter, and because Twitter, the way it works, it's very, very, very fast information. So someone can put Yodobashi Camera is now selling Triplet Beat, And there are people who go around these Pokemon card shops and live tweet when the shops have their stock. Now, I have a friend who owns a Pokemon card shop and he says he never says on Twitter when they have stock in, because they will be inundated with people who just sit around all day, look at Twitter, wait for the cards and go and get them immediately. And you're probably asking, do people really do this? And I'm like, yes, there's benches in Yodobashi Camera where people will just sit and they're scrolling through Twitter waiting for the new news about Pokemon cards. And then people will rush to the location where they heard they're being sold, and immediately they'll sell out within about 10 minutes. Now, a lot of card shops see this as a very unfair system, so that's why a lot of shops are doing a lottery for every release. Now, going into lottery, everything is lottery. And I can't say that there's not bots or people using Twitter accounts, because a lot of the lotteries are retweet this tweet and you're entered into the lottery. So I can't say that there's people not using burner accounts to enter multiple times for these lotteries to buy Pokemon cards. And of course, where does that put us, regular people who don't want to use multiple Twitter accounts just to buy a single box of Pokemon cards? Now, if you're coming to Japan when there is a release and you would like to enter those lotteries, I'm sure you're more than welcome to do so. You will need an understanding of the Japanese language, or you will need good old Google Translate. Totally recommend him. He's a great guy. Or you will need a line account if you are going for the Pokemon Center. Unfortunately, you cannot just rock up to the Pokemon Center and be like, hey, where's the cards? You can, on the other hand, just rock up to Yodobashi Camera at 6 a.m. If it's release day, Yodobashi Camera will always do a general sale. But I've been there at 6 a.m. and the queue has been 300 people long already. And that was for V-Star Universe. Now, they have a huge amount of stock and you'll probably be all right. But just bear in mind, that's kind of the world we're living in at the moment. And of course, fueling this as well is the resale value on cards. Playable cards in Japan have always been one of the biggest sellers. And now there's something we call a bit of a waifu tax. If you have a popular card that is a cute girl, it's gonna be more expensive than a Pokemon these days. And why are these girl cards, these waifu cards, so expensive? It's Japan. I can't explain it any more than Japan has this real like cute girl culture, and that's always gonna be popular. And I think a lot of people who are coming into this Pokemon card world are not necessarily that interested in Pokemon per se, and the cute girl card is more what they're after rather than the Pokemon cards, because they're coming in from a different perspective. But then again, I just don't 100% know why waifus are so popular here, but that's just the way it is in Japan. Of course, reselling within Japan is a huge thing here, and I think that might be the biggest reason for this boom that we're seeing at the moment. With the amount of Pokemon card shops and the amount of online selling that you can see really easily, people have jumped on this bandwagon of, I can get this waifu card and then I can sell it half a year later for even more. For a developed country, wages are notoriously low in Japan, and any way to make some quick money is quite desirable here. And I think that might be the reason why waifu cards are so popular, is because those who are trying to resell and trying to flip cards, they don't really understand the Pokemon themselves and the strength of the Pokemon or the cuteness or the popularity, but they can see a cute girl and they can see, right, I can always sell a cute girl for a high price. So they might have seen the previous cards of Lily and Marnie flipped for very high prices and think, well, we'll do that with Triplet Beat. This is the cute girl. I reckon we can sell that for a lot. Of course, it is not only young people who are into Pokemon cards, it's those in their 30s and 40s who are very much into the nostalgia as well. That is a huge group of men that I see queuing up at the Pokemon centers. Of course, I want to talk about supply as well. One of the big ways to fix the problem of overpriced cards and lack of supply is to flood the market with said supply. And the Pokemon Company is very much aware of this boom. I remember when they posted their advertisement for V-Star Universe and all the comments were like, I can't find this anywhere. How dare you post an advertisement for your Pokemon cards that I just can't get anywhere? What the hell is this? Like, the comments were hilarious in Japanese, I think. So obviously they're not producing enough supply. Japanese card quality is very high and misprints are very, very rare. Actually making misprints sometimes worth a lot more than a regular print. So I believe that is something that contributes to the slower production of the cards. But as I've said, they are aware of this boom, so surely they should be printing more and more supply. And I know they are doing reprints. They even did a reprint that went on the Pokemon Center online website for V-Star Universe, and it sold out in 10 minutes. I can't really comprehend how much supply they must have to make to flood the market. I just don't think that's going to be possible. So contrary to what you have been told, the majority of this Pokemon boom and the difficulty of getting Pokemon cards and that horrible price inflation of Pokemon cards overseas, it is kind of a problem that's originated in Japan. It's a Japanese problem. It's a problem that we people living here in Japan, that Japanese people are facing, as much as it is a problem for people overseas who sadly can't get those Japanese cards that they have loved for so many years. I know a lot of you are watching this video and thinking, I'm coming to Japan soon and I want to buy some Pokemon cards. And apart from Yodobashi camera and lotteries that you'll find online and on Twitter, I'm sorry, it's going to be a bit disappointing for you if you're looking for the new sets. You can always try just popping into Yodobashi camera on the off chance, Big Camera when they have the off chance. Any of these Pokemon card shops, sometimes they don't announce it on Twitter that they have a new restock in. You might be all right. Pokemon Center itself, not really. Convenience stores will sometimes stock Pokemon cards. They'll usually be behind the counter, so have a little peek behind the counter when you're in a 7-Eleven or a Lawson. But really, I can't guarantee that you're going to find any new sets here anymore. Thank you for watching my video. I know it's not the most positive of videos, but follow me on Instagram if you would like. That's where I mainly put when lotteries are going up on the Pokemon Center online, etc, etc. So if you're in Japan, that might be helpful to you. And maybe I'll make another video about this in the future and hopefully things will improve, as I greatly enjoy collecting Pokemon cards. I have done so for many years. I've lived in Japan for almost 8 years now and it's exhausting. So that's all for now. Maybe I'll make another video in the future. Who knows? Pokemon, getto da ze!